Spain, more than 200 people have died in just the past few days. And here in France, 55 people have drowned as people seek relief from the heat. Eloi is only 6 months old and should be at his Paris nursery so his father, a high school teacher, can go to work. But neither place has air conditioning.
It's a furnace out there.
It's a furnace, yes.
So they're here, inside a wedding hall that's been turned into a public cool room. The AC is keeping Parisians on their feet and pause amid this crippling heat wave that's exposed more than just tan lines. While more than 90% of American homes have it, here in France, it's only 25%. Sometimes European regulations discourage it, especially if it affects historic buildings. That even includes hospitals, like this one opened in 1854, where only the most vulnerable get rooms with AC, says Dr. Sebastian Voicu.
So we do have air conditioning in the hospital, but not all the rooms and all the wards. And it's a historical monument, so we cannot have alterations that easily to it.
So air conditioning could save lives.
In circumstances like this, yes.
The mayor of Paris's 17th arrondissement told us the lack of AC is now a public health issue. So he's made a public show of personally delivering AC units to public schools. Polling shows air conditioning has long been looked down upon as wasteful by an overwhelming majority in France. But amid the deadly heat wave, taboos are melting away. Here in Paris, police have announced a ban on public drinking to help curb heat-related emergencies, as hospitals have warned that they are nearing a saturation point.
Oh my god! Big hail! Big hail!
Oh yeah!
Big hail!
That's window breaking.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Here we go. Oh no.
Dude.
I don't know about this. I don't know about this.
How are none like they're bouncing in the field and they're rolling across the road is what they're doing.
Yo! Whoa! Oh, new crack.
Yep.
Oh no.
What do you guys want to do now? It's gonna have to clean it out here.
A little bit more sporadic, but they're gonna get bigger, I think.
What are these, like golf balls?
Yeah, these are, some of them are hen eggs.
right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakodash, giving double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. It's coming back with another lesson. Because the Lord is really, bringing plagues upon the earth right now. You just had earthquakes, like 4 major earthquakes on the same day. And now, 2 days ago, you have this storm, that went through Idaho, the Midwest area, just out of nowhere, which caused great flooding. But you also see hail, man. It's so much hail that it looks like snow, so the Lord is really bringing plagues upon the world, Europe, Spain, So it's hard to work for the Lord. So let's just get this clip and then we'll get into some scriptures.
Look at the car. The water is about high on the tires.
Well, you're against the curve as well, but yeah. The water is at the same level as the curve. There's too many clouds.
Idaho this evening. Hail blocking storm drains even led to some flash flooding. And we just getting started. All right, and we got the videos in the beginning, which shows even more destruction and plagues that the Lord is bringing, man. But, with that being said, this is a message, to you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You really got to get on. You really got to start paying attention to this truth, man, and what's being brought out. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 11. It says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. Matter of fact, let's get this in the KJV. The blue letter. Let's see. We're going to go into this word terror. Terror. It says fear, dread, that which strikes terror. So fear, great fear really, through the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we persuade men, and we're doing this to, help you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans come back to your true power, man. The Lord has his power on display, but he hadn't really even unleashed what's to come, man. This is just mild. This is just the calm before the storm, so to speak. But it's gonna get a whole lot worse out here, man. You know, that particular storm could have been a lot worse. You know, the Lord could have mingled in some tornadoes in there, man. You know, it kind of looked as if tornadoes were going to break out. Then you see, I forgot what country it was, even the street lights were melting, man. That's how hot it is. So the Lord is not playing, man. You know, he's bringing all kinds of severe tempests, man. So this is a book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 39. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So, you know, these are all the workings of the Lord. You know, the Lord put forth spirits to do what he wants to do, man. You know, they're workers. So it says fire and hail and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance. You know, fire, hail, and famine and death. So the Lord brings all this. The Lord is the orchestrator of all of this. So when you see these bad weather patterns, the heat, the rain with the hail mixed in, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, all these things are the works of the Lord, you know. And he put the spirit, and if Esau does have anything to do with it, he put the spirit upon him to do that, as we just read. There be spirits that are created for vengeance. So if Esau used his heart device or whatever he got, you know, the Lord made him do it anyway, man. So it all goes back to the Lord, man. But the thing about it is you have to fear the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Otherwise, you're going to be out here left in the cold, you know, literally. So let's go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 5, and we'll drop down to verse 21. It says, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which I have eyes to see not, and ears, Salaki, have eyes to see not, which have ears and hear not. You know, it's being brought forth, you know, the will, the works of the Lord are being brought forth on display. You know, the word is being brought out through his prophets. Warnings are being brought out through his prophets. You know, everything that you're seeing is being filtered through the scriptures. So it's really no excuse. You know, he says, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. So really you're just turning a blind eye to what's going on, you know, thinking it's going to get better, thinking it's just a one-time occurrence. But these things are happening more regularly now. So verse 22, it says, fear ye not me, saith the Lord Yahweh. So the Lord is saying, you don't fear me? Really? Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree? You know, the Lord, that shore, that nice, beautiful shore that you're walking on the beach, the Lord put that there, man. The Lord put it there. Says that it cannot pass it, you know. So the Lord, when you see those waves coming in and going back, and you wondering why that water just don't keep going and just, you know, flood the land, the Lord has it that way, man. You know, you got simple people that don't even think about that. Like, how is the ocean not just coming up and not just utterly just flooding this land? It's just stopping right there. You know, that's works of the Lord, man. It says, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. But this people hath a revolting and a gone rebellious heart. they are revolted and gone. So due to that, the Lord is going to continue to bring these calamities upon the earth, The Lord is going to continue to bring these calamities upon the earth. Not only is Jake going to be punished, Esau, Edom is going to be punished also. Anybody that's not, doing the will or giving Yahweh Shem Yahushua his reverence, you're going to suffer, man. So these storms that you're seeing are really light. They're light work of what's to come, because the Lord is going to eventually just start pouring all his anger out upon the earth. We're going to see it take place. So let's go to the book of Job. Chapter 38. And we'll go to verse 25. It says, who hath divided a water course for the overflowing of waters, or a way for the lightning of thunder, to cause it to rain on the earth where no man is, on the wilderness wherein there is no man, to satisfy the desolate and waste ground, and to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth? Hath the rain a father, or who hath begotten the drops of dew? And the answer to that is our Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. All these things were created by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Verse 29, it says, out of whose womb came the ice and the hoary frost of heaven? Who hath gendered it? Verse 30, it says, the waters are hid with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. So the Lord controls all these things, man. Whether you want to believe it or not, when you see these things happen upon the earth, and death happens, destruction happens, 1,000 people dying from heat, people drowning. That's of the Lord, man. Matter of fact, let's just get the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 7. Salaki. It says, I form the light. I create darkness. I make peace. I create evil. I